did you know that birds can get the flu too? Yes, you heard that right. Our feathered friends may be hiding more than just birdseed under their wings. Imagine throwing a house party and there's that one uninvited guest who shows up and turns everything upside down. In the avian world, that's the H5N1 avian flu virus. It's the guy who shows up, eats all the birdseed and leaves a mess of tissues behind. Now let's set the scene. You're a bird, just hanging out in your nest, tweeting away. Suddenly this party crasher, let's call him H5N1, barges in. He's loud, he's obnoxious, and he's got a knack for causing a ruckus. In bird terms, this means sneezing, coughing, and yes, even a fever. The bird flu, much like the human flu, can cause our feathered friends to feel under the weather, quite literally. But this isn't just any ordinary flu. Oh no, this is the avian flu, and it's not picky either. It affects chickens, ducks, turkeys, pretty much any bird you can think of. So when H5N1 crashes the party, he doesn't discriminate. He's there to cause chaos, turning feathers into tissues and bird baths into makeshift sick bays. And just like that annoying party crasher, H5N1 doesn't know when to leave. Once he's in, he makes himself at home, spreading from bird to bird, turning a once joyous bird party into a full-blown bird flu outbreak. It's like a game of duck, duck, goose gone horribly wrong. So the next time you see a bird sneezing, remember, it might not just be allergies. They could be hosting an unwanted house guest. And let's face it, nobody wants that guy at their party. So be a good neighbor and help keep our feathered friends healthy. After all, a bird's party should be all about chirping and cheeping, not sneezing and wheezing. Now you might be thinking, I'm not a bird, why should I worry? Well, hold on to your hats because this flu doesn't discriminate between feathers and hair. Picture this. You're at a party, having a blast with your friends. Suddenly there's a knock at the door. It's not the pizza delivery guy, but rather a party crasher. And not just any party crasher, but a microscopic one with a knack for gate crashing both bird and human shindigs. This, dear folks, is the avian flu virus, also known as H5N1. Now this virus isn't your run-of-the-mill party pooper. No, it's more like that uninvited guest who not only drinks all your soda but also decides to stick around long after the party's over, leaving you with nothing but a mess and a headache. And much like that unwanted guest, the avian flu virus hops from the bird party to the human party when it gets bored. So how does this microscopic party crasher make the leap? Well, it's not by sprouting wings and flying across the room, I can assure you. No, it's far less dramatic and a whole lot sneakier than that. This virus can infect humans through direct contact with infected birds, or even just from touching surfaces that these sick birds have come in contact with. It's like a game of tag, but with a lot less running and a lot more sneezing. And just like in tag, once you're stuck with it. The avian flu virus can cause symptoms ranging from mild, like a runny nose or a cough, to severe, like high fever or even pneumonia. So it's not just a party crasher, it's a party wrecker. The moral of the story? Well, it's simple. If you find yourself at a bird party, make sure to keep your distance from any rowdy, sneezing guests. Because trust me, you don't want this microscopic party crasher tagging along with you when you leave. So if you find yourself at a bird party, make sure to keep your distance from any rowdy, sneezing guests. What does this party crasher leave behind? Apart from a pile of used tissues and a headache, let's talk symptoms. Now, we all know that the morning after a wild party can leave us feeling a little worse for wear. But imagine, if you will, the aftermath of a 3-day music festival. Yes, that's right, the avian flu is the uninvited guest that doesn't just drink all your good liquor but also leaves you with a hangover that could knock a horse off its hooves. The mild symptoms of this unwanted guest can be compared to a regular hangover. You know, the kind where you wake up with a headache that feels like a marching band is parading through your brain, a fever that could melt an ice sculpture, and a cough that sounds like a rusty old car engine. And let's not forget about the sore throat. It's like swallowing sandpaper. Now, if you're unfortunate enough to experience the severe symptoms, well, buckle up, my friends. This is where the 3-day festival aftermath kicks in. Picture this. You've been in the mosh pit for 72 hours straight. You're dehydrated, and you've lost your voice from all the shouting. That's what pneumonia feels like, one of the severe symptoms of avian flu. And that's just the start. You might also experience acute respiratory distress, which is like trying to breathe through a straw while running a marathon. And then comes the pièce de résistance, the mother of all symptoms, multiple organ failure. This is like when the DJ finally drops the bass and everything just stops. The lights go out, the music stops playing, and you're left in darkness. So if you wake up feeling like you've just survived the world's worst party and you didn't even have any fun, it might be time to call the doctor. Because this is one hangover that won't be cured by a greasy breakfast and a strong cup of coffee. Remember, if you're feeling like you've been at the world's worst party without the fun, it might be time to call the doctor. So, how do we keep this unwanted guest from crashing our party? Picture this. You're throwing the party of the century and in walks that one person you didn't invite. You know, the one who always brings uninvited guests, empties your fridge, and leaves a mess behind. The avian flu is that uninvited guest. So how do we ensure it never gets past the door? Well, for starters, we can avoid close contact with the sick birds. Just think of them as that friend who constantly shows up with a new cold. You wouldn't share a drink with them, would you? Of course not. So don't cuddle the chickens, no matter how fluffy they might be. Next, handling poultry properly is crucial. You wouldn't eat a half-cooked steak, right? Same goes for poultry. Always cook it thoroughly. Remember, a well-cooked bird is a safe bird. And here's the kicker, we need a bouncer. No, not a burly guy with a headset, but a vaccine. Just like a bouncer checks IDs at the door, vaccines check viruses at the entrance of our bodies. They ensure only the good guys get in, leaving the crashers like the avian flu out in the cold. While we're on the subject of bouncers, let's remember that they can't do it all. Sometimes even the best bouncer can't keep out a determined party crasher. That's where we come in. We need to keep our guard up and follow the rules. So, let's recap. Avoid close contact with sick birds, handle and cook poultry properly, and get your vaccine. Consider it your personal bouncer, keeping your party exclusive and your guests healthy. And that, my friends, is how we keep our parties exclusive and our guests healthy. Remember, a good bouncer is worth 1,000 tissues. So let's keep the party going and the uninvited guests out. Because let's face it, no one likes a party crasher, especially when they bring the flu.